Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today and for tuning into this talk about toxicology for chemists. My name is Nim, and I'm a program manager for higher education at Beyond Benign. And today I'm going to be talking about our open access curriculum that we've designed to empower chemists to use toxicology knowledge for sustainable science. Before we begin, Beyond Benign wishes to acknowledge the unceded land on which we operate. For years, it has been the traditional land of the Pawtucket and Massachusetts nations. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide, colonialism, and forced removal from this territory. And we also acknowledge that further education is needed on our part to learn the full history of the land we occupy and all the Indigenous peoples it belongs to. Presently, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous nations across Turtle Island, and we honor, respect, and celebrate the diversity of peoples that are connected to this land. We also acknowledge that in today's virtual space, we and those listening occupy unceded land and territories belonging to Indigenous nations across the world. Beyond Benign commits to educating ourselves, to supporting Indigenous communities, and to decolonizing our organization, practices, programs, and activities. And if you would like to learn a little bit more about our land acknowledgement and the resources that we use to help us put it together, we've provided a hyperlink at the bottom of the slide. So a little bit about our history. Beyond Benign is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 2007 by Dr. John Warner, who is the co-founder of Green Chemistry, and Dr. Amy Cannon, who holds the world's first PhD in green chemistry. And our mission really centers around fostering a green chemistry education community that empowers educators to transform chemistry education for a sustainable future. And so what that means is that we envision a world in which the chemistry knowledge that people learn in their education provides them the opportunity and the ability to design chemical building blocks of products that are used every day in a way that's healthy and safe for humans and for the environment. And why should chemists know specifically then about toxicology? So with the right skills, we as chemists can use this knowledge to design solutions for a sustainable future. So we know that with the growth of the chemical market being anticipated to grow quite quickly, and for the fact that a majority of global consumers feel that the companies that they would like to invest in should be improving the environment, we know then that as chemists, the demand for greener chemicals and chemistry practices is rising. And really what that means and what it comes down to is designing safer and less hazardous chemical products and making that our priority. And really that starts with education. We know that traditional chemistry courses and knowledge that we are provided currently does not necessarily give chemists an understanding of what makes a material or a molecule hazardous. We might know how to construct that molecule. We might know how to improve it for its intended applications. But do we really know how to design molecules that are inherently safe, that are non-toxic, that don't affect human health or environmental health in adverse ways? And this really kind of ties into 2 of the 12 principles of green chemistry here as well, that a lot of our work is based on. And as part of this, and especially as part of the green chemistry commitment, we have sought to provide open access knowledge about toxicology in a way that is easily integratable into early year chemistry courses. And to just kind of say a couple words about what the green chemistry commitment is, it's a commitment that higher education institutions can sign on to, where you agree to integrating green chemistry throughout chemistry courses that you offer at your institution, mainly focusing on 4 student learning objectives, one of which is having an understanding of the principles of toxicology and how chemicals affect human health and the environment, and of being able to provide resources to identify and assess molecular hazards. And so this is something that we are really strongly committed to with this curriculum that we have helped to develop. And so as I mentioned, this curriculum is open access and freely available, and is really geared towards educating and empowering chemists to use this knowledge to practice sustainable and societally relevant science. We know that toxicology can often be a very intimidating subject for chemists, but really the benefit of learning it, and of learning it at an early stage, is being able to apply your science to solve societally relevant problems. Where this ties into the UN Sustainable Development Goals, two kind of examples that I was able to think of really quickly was designing chemicals or products that really contribute to good health and well-being instead of adversely affecting it, and in the responsible consumption and production of products as well. To give a brief history of this project, it was first launched in 2019, and the advisory group that really kind of oversaw it is comprised of chemists and toxicologists as well, so we're able to draw from their knowledge. It was a 3-year project, and so we are currently in the final stages of pulling together the curriculum content and preparing to release it, which is tremendously exciting. I'd like to take a second to acknowledge our advisory group. You can see here that it's made up of professionals across university, across industry, across government, and comprising chemists as well as toxicologists as well. And so what can you hope to find in the actual course content or in the modules? And so we have 12 modules that have been designed by teams of curriculum developers and whose names are written here in gray on the slide. The first few modules really kind of are geared towards an introduction to toxicology. So learning about the principles of toxicology, the history, understanding concepts like hazard and risk, and how we can apply those concepts to chemistry in particular, toxicokinetics and toxicodynamics. Whereas some of the later modules focus specifically on certain subject areas in toxicology and teach it in a way that is accessible through a chemistry lens. So thinking about the types of chemical reactions and how they can be, how they're linked to toxicity, thinking about physiological toxicity and how that relates to chemistry, inorganic chemistry, toxicology, in the environment or in biodegradation or aquatic and terrestrial toxicity. Modules 10 and 11 really kind of focus on this design aspect. How can we design molecules that are able to be less toxic, given everything that we've learned in the previous modules? Module 12, the final module, is meant to be an amalgamation of all the case studies collected throughout designing the course content, and a collection of resources that educators can just pull from and integrate very easily into their own chemistry courses. So it's designed as kind of a use it as you will type module, as opposed to an extremely structured beginning to end module. But overall, I think the curriculum gives a very, very thorough overview of an introduction to toxicology through a chemistry lens. And so what can you hope to find in the module content? So each module comprises an estimated 3 hours of lecture content. And so that's in the PowerPoint slides, which in themselves have an outline, some learning outcomes for students. We highlight several case studies throughout the modules. And there are also summary slides as well to kind of help keep you on track. In addition, each module also contains supplementary information that's not in the PowerPoint slides. So things like lesson plans, any background readings that you or the students might want to undertake, any open source supplemental resources, such as videos or other curricula that can be linked to labs or websites, any homework or activities, supplemental videos that might either walk the students or the educators through how to approach this module, and then also some kind of key definitions and terms. One of the most common questions we get about this Toxicology for Chemists curriculum is, Do I have to use the entire curriculum? Can I just use pieces of it? How am I able to integrate little parts of this into an existing chemistry course that I have, for example? So one of the nice advantages of this curriculum is that it is designed in a very flexible way. And actually at the most recent ACS Green Chemistry and Engineering Conference, Beyond Benign, in conjunction with our toxicology fellows, professors Barb Mora, Julian Silverman, and Doug Rainey, ran a workshop on the different approaches to incorporating this curriculum into your own curriculum. So we demonstrated that you can use it in ChemTalks tidbits or little snippets, one slide pictures, if you will, of the content that can be incorporated into an existing chemistry course versus taking maybe one or multiple modules and interspersing throughout a course or using that to build a story within your own chemistry course, or also using the entire curriculum from beginning to end as a standalone course as well. So we really prioritized having the content be easy to use in order to help with that flexibility. And also we are continuing to prioritize support for educators who want to implement these modules. And so what can you expect from the next steps for this curriculum? Basically, we are at the point where we are preparing to wrap up the content and also to launch the curriculum. One key thing that we're working on right now is securing pilot testers. So these are educators who want to use pieces of the curriculum within their own courses, either from the upcoming September to December semester or from January to May, the spring semester of 2022. So the full curriculum will be available by the end of this year. But if you would like to wait for the full pilot tested curriculum, that will be available in the summer of next year. However, what I did want to do right now is to actually provide you with my contact information. If you are interested in being a pilot tester, please contact me at my email that I've written there. As a reminder, my name is Nim. I am the current lead on this Toxicology for Chemists curriculum. You can also connect with me as well on Twitter if you like. I know a lot of chemists are on Twitter, but what will be really great actually to connect with all of you is to catch you at the live Q&A information session, which is happening on August 18th from 11:30 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. Eastern time. So I really hope to kind of connect with all of you there and to meet you and to be able to chat toxicology. So just finally, thank you to the module creators and to the advisory board for this curriculum and to Beyond Benign for all their work. Thank you to the session and the conference organizers. And finally, thank you to you for your attention. And I look forward to connecting with you all and meeting with you throughout the conference.